Generals dusted off strategies never before unleashed. Factories began to roar with hidden capacity. And then, one by one, the fleets began to vanish from their stations. Across human space, listening posts reported the same chilling message, repeated in a dozen tongues, carried on encoded bursts. Patience is ended, wrath begins. When Earth answered, the Varans first realized something was wrong when their border patrols went silent. Not destroyed, silent. Their signals cut off mid-transmission. Their ships never returned. Then came the dreadnoughts. The humans did not send envoys. They did not send warnings. They sent armadas, vessels so vast they eclipsed stars, so black they drank the light of nebulae. The first strike fell upon the Varan forward base at Drosk 7. In less than 3 minutes, the fortress world was reduced to molten slag. No survivors, no prisoners, no messages sent. Across the stars, one by one, Varan strongholds erupted into fire. Precision strikes, each delivered with cold silence. The humans did not gloat. They did not broadcast threats. They did not even acknowledge their enemies' pleas. On the galactic network, the silence was more terrifying than any roar of vengeance. Humanity's fleets spoke only in the language of annihilation. The wrath unleashed. And then came the true storm. Entire sectors darkened as Terran warfleets advanced. The galaxy watched in horror as hundreds, no, thousands of human warships appeared, moving with terrifying coordination. They did not waste time with sieges. They erased. Varan cities that had stood for centuries vanished under orbital bombardments that rained fire like the end of days. Fleet after fleet of Varan reinforcements arrived, only to find themselves swallowed whole by human formations that struck with inhuman precision. The humans unleashed weapons the galaxy had only heard of in myth: planet-scorching beams, kinetic spears that split moons, automated legions that fell from the skies like storms of steel and fire. Their soldiers, infantry clad in armor that shrugged off plasma and claws, descended on Varan worlds with the patience of executioners. They did not rage. They did not shout. They simply advanced, killing with methodical silence. One Varan admiral, cornered in the shattered remains of his fleet, whispered into his last transmission. They do not fight with anger, they fight with judgment. The transmission cut as his vessel was reduced to dust. A galaxy holds its breath. Other empires froze in place. The galaxy, once amused by humanity's patience, now trembled at its wrath. For the humans had not simply answered, they had overwhelmed. The Varans tried surrender. They broadcasted pleas for mercy, promises of treaties, cries of apology. But Earth did not answer. Every human fleet pressed forward until the once proud empire was broken, its homeworld surrounded by Terran dreadnoughts blotting out its twin suns. In the last days of the war, as the humans descended upon the Varan capital, no one mocked them. No one dared speak of patience or softness. The galaxy knew the truth. When patience ends, the fury that follows is infinite. Aftermath, the whispered warning. When at last the Terran fleets pulled back, silence reigned. The Varans were not exterminated. No, humanity chose a deeper punishment. Their empire lay in ruins, their fleets dismantled, their leaders executed, their worlds scarred with fire. But some were left alive, enough to carry the story, enough to whisper the warning. And whisper they did. Across every star system, in every backroom of every council chamber, the words spread like smoke. Never provoke Earth again. The lesson was carved into the galaxy's memory. Humanity's patience is vast, their silence deep, but their vengeance, when awakened, is a storm that no empire can withstand. Where once the galaxy mocked the patient ones, now they trembled at the quiet ones. For the quiet ones had shown their truth. Patience does not mean weakness. Patience means waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when the strike comes, nothing survives. The attack was not born out of desperation, nor necessity. It was born out of arrogance. On the outer edge of the Perseus Arm, where a modest human colony named Haven 9 had thrived for less than a century, the skis turned to fire. The Jacari, a warlike species cloaked in bone-plated warships, descended without warning. The colony was not a fortress. It was not even a military outpost. It was a place of gardens, of schools, of children laughing beneath artificial suns. Farmers cultivated alien soil, engineers built quiet homes, and scholars mapped the nearby stars. The Jacari knew this. They struck anyway. Their cruisers burned through orbital defenses as if they were toys, shredding satellites and station hulls with careless blasts. The colony itself was left vulnerable, and the bombardment began. Cities of glass and steel shattered. Atmosphere rippled under the concussion of orbital strikes. Laughter filled Jacari comm channels. "Look at them scatter," one captain jeered, watching evacuation ships struggle to lift off. "So weak, so fragile. These humans breed like vermin, but they die like insects." They broadcast the execution of captured civilians across open frequencies. Mothers, fathers, children, paraded as broken trophies. To the Jacari it was sport. To the galaxy it was a warning. Humanity was no longer untouchable. Songs of mockery. In the cycles that followed, the Jacari celebrated. Their empire spread rumors across neutral trade routes and border channels. They declared humanity soft, restrained, too patient to retaliate. Earth hides behind words, behind diplomacy. A Jacari warlord sneered to a gathering of neutral species. They will weep, they will beg, but they will not fight. Songs were sung in their barracks, mocking the humans' endless patience. Children of the Jacari were taught to laugh at the thought of human vengeance, as if it were some distant myth that had never existed. In smoky halls of alien courts, diplomats shook their heads at humanity's silence. No declaration of war. No fleets moved. No vengeance fell. To outsiders, it seemed Earth had swallowed its pride, burying rage beneath the cloak of civility. But silence is not surrender. Silence is the inhale before the roar. The weight of silence. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, in bunkers layered with steel and secrecy, the decision was made. The silence of humanity was not weakness. It was patience distilled into something lethal. The Terran High Command spoke no threats, issued no proclamations. They listened, they recorded, they calculated. Every Jacari broadcast mocking human timidity was archived. Every insult was weighed. Then one transmission rippled across the stars, quiet and chilling. It was not a declaration. It was a statement delivered in a calm, steady human voice. Patience ends. Galactic trade lanes froze. Neutral observers whispered. Some dismissed it as bravado. Others felt a coldness crawl down their spines. Because unlike the Jacari, they remembered. They remembered the wars humanity had fought in the past, their fury when colonies were threatened, their ruthlessness when betrayed. They remembered the lesson carved into history. Patience may delay retaliation, but it multiplies the force of the response. And now, humanity's patience was ending. When the sky broke, the first signs came as a ripple across star systems near Jacari borders. Merchant convoys vanished. Pirate strongholds, long ignored by the human fleets, were suddenly obliterated, their ruins left as silent markers. Then came the shadows. On the edge of Jacari-controlled space, suns dimmed as fleets emerged. Dreadnoughts larger than cities, carriers with wings of silent gunships, and frigates in endless swarms. They did not announce themselves. They simply arrived, spreading across the black like a storm uncoiling. One Jacari outpost sent a transmission to its command world, panicked. "They're here, the humans." The message cut off as the outpost's starbase cracked apart under the first human volley. What chilled the galaxy was not just the firepower, it was the precision. Every strike was exact, every target chosen with surgical cruelty. Humanity was not lashing out blindly. They were dismantling the Jacari piece by piece, patiently, methodically. This was not rage, this was wrath. Wrath unleashed. The first great fleet engagement happened above the Jacari fortress world of Karshal. Its defenses had never fallen, not in centuries of war with rival empires. The Jacari waited, arrogant still, confident in their fortress cannons, their planetary shields, their armadas